Okay, let's take a look at page 567, 5 to 15 odds. This is practice for the 13.2 extension. And the directions for number 5 ask us to factor the expression using the greatest common factor. Okay, so we at this point in the year should already know how to calculate the greatest common factor. Most of us just looking at 20 and 8 know that the greatest common factor is 4. If you don't know the greatest common factor, you can use the ladder method, you can use prime factorization to figure out 4 goes into both of these, 4 goes into 25 times, into 8 twice. There's no other common factors, making 4 the GCF. Okay, so we're gonna factor out 4. Remember, factor means to divide. So we have to divide both terms by 4. 20 divided by 4 is 5. Drop down the z, drop down the subtraction. 4 goes into 8 twice. And when we factor expressions, we write it as a product of its two factors. So that means we drop down the 4, that's one factor. Smash together means multiplication, so we'll smash it up against 5z minus 2, and that's our answer. Number 7. Number 7 is 36a plus 16b, and we have to use the greatest common factor. So if you're not sure, you can do 36 and 16. I know that 4 goes into both of these. 4 goes into 36 9 times. 4 goes into 16 4 times. Again, there's no more common factors, meaning 4 is the GCF. So we're going to factor out a 4, and then we're going to divide. That's what factoring means. 36 divided by 4 is 9. Drop in the A, drop in the addition. 16 divided by 4 is 4. Drop down the B. When we factor, we show an expression as a product of its factors. So we're going to smash the 4 against the 9A plus 4B. And we have our answer. Number 9. Number 9, now we are factoring out the coefficient. So let's take a look. It says 1/3 b minus 1/3. So if you're a little rusty on coefficients, a coefficient is just the number by which the variable is multiplied, the number in front of that variable. So we're going to divide by 1/3. We're going to factor out 1/3. 1/3 divided by 1/3 is 1, or 1b. Drop down your subtraction. 1/3 divided by 1/3 is 1. So we're almost done. Then we have to show it as a product, 1/3 times b minus 1. Okay. Number 11. I'm going to just do number 11 over here since I have room. Number 11 is 2.2x plus 4.4. We're factoring out the coefficient, which means we're going to divide both terms by 2.2. So factor out a 2.2. 2.2 divided by 2.2 is 1. So we're going to just write it as x. If you wrote 1x, totally fine. Then we have to divide our second term by 2.2. 4.4 divided by 2.2 is 2. You can work that out off to the side if you need to. We have to show it as a product. So 2.2 times x plus 2. Okay. All right, 2 more. Number 13. 13, it gives us the expression -1/2 x plus 6, and it tells us it wants us to factor out the -1/2, which means we're going to divide both terms by -1/2. So divide by -1/2, divide by -1/2. Okay, so a number divided by itself is just 1, so 1x or x. Drop down the addition, and then you may want to work this out off to the side just to be sure if you don't know. So 6 over 1, division changes to multiplication, 1 over 2 changes to 2 over 1, and it was a negative. So 6 times negative 2 is negative 12. And then 1 times 1 is just 1, so I don't need to write that. So we drop down our addition. 6 divided by negative a half is negative 12. Okay, so then we're going to show it as negative 1/2 times x plus negative 12. Now, this can also be written, and you probably will see it this way in your textbook, as negative 1/2 times x minus 12. Remember, subtracting a number and adding the opposite are the same thing. Both of these are right. Okay, one more, okay? It tells us a square wrestling mat has a perimeter of 12x. Let's see, let me write that again. 12x minus 32. Okay, it says write an expression that represents the side length of a mat. Well, for perimeter, if it's a square, all the sides are the same length. All of those are added together. There's 4 sides that make up this total. So we need to divide by 4. In other words, factor out of 4. Division and factoring are synonymous, and that will give us an expression for the side length. So this inside, this is our perimeter. Can you see what I'm writing in yellow? Probably not, but you can hear me. And we're gonna divide it by 4 because there's 4 sides, okay? So 12 divided by 4 is 3. Drop down our x, drop down our subtraction. 32 divided by 4 is 8. Just this part here is our answer. That's one side length. 4 of them make up the perimeter. Okay, hope that helped.